It's the way I knew that was coming, and I was so excited because that's the only way I know how to start this off. Lovely, lovely people. My name is Daphny Emily.
And I'm Eerees Eerees.
And we are
Soulful She.
two bodacious beauties.
Living in Brockton, from Brockton.
Unraveling our truth on identity, mental health, fashion, and empowerment through conversations from the soul. We are rusty, baby.
Listen, it's been how many times?
How bad this is going? It's been a year.
Yeah.
It's been a year.
Yeah.
It's been a year.
Yeah.
But we're here again. We're back.
For season 3. I was not expecting us to get this far. I'm not gonna lie.
Thank you for believing in us.
No, I mean, like, I was like, oh, this is a fun, like, exciting shenanigan, and, you know, us two bodacious beauties that are bodacious, but are also shy and don't take up space and aren't usually in the spotlight. I was more of like, yeah, sure, like, I can do this for a little while. And then now look at us in season 3.
Oh, look at me being an introvert, being all up in here still. An introvert though, still here. But now that we're here and we're back again, and as always, let's keep it real quick, Eerees.
Sheesh. Can we do like a quick reminder of like what, you know?
You're keeping it real quick.
Yeah, like for the people that maybe this is your first time listening.
For the people in the back. Well, since you're going first, you can break it down for the people and then go ahead.
Sure. And so when we started this, I think one of the biggest things that I wanted to do in this space is like, there's a lot of times that you go to work or you go to an event or you go to a meeting, and a rhetoric that gets used is like, keep your feelings at the door. Like whatever you're going through, like leave them outside because it has nothing to do with what we need to get done. And that's not being real. So we wanted to keep it real quick.
So all the shit we go through is the first thing we're gonna talk about when we get here. If we had a good day, a bad day, any type of day, we keep it real quick and we bring it here and share with y'all.
Basically. So keeping it real quick. How am I keeping it real quick? Keeping it real quick.
It's not that quick, but it's real.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah. I think that I am super excited because we're here together. I get to see you often, but I don't get to see our videographer, John Melovier, often, and so I feel like this is I feel like this is a space where we do get to see him a lot more and interact with him before or after or during. So it was nice knowing that like, oh, I get to see John again, and I get to bring us together again. Not me, we get to bring us together, but then at the same time I'm also scared, because it's like not in a bad way scared, but more of like we're jumping back in, and I feel like we're jumping back in a time where like, you know, when you say like just start it even though you're not ready.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where we're at right now. Like we're not ready, but like we are ready.
Are we not ready though?
But in the sense like you're never not like.
Stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Exactly. So yeah, like I'm in that little bubble right now. But I'm excited.
We're warming up again.
Exactly.
It's like this is part of life again. It's not like something we're just doing, but like this is part of our weekly routine. Yeah, that's it. That's all you got.
I think so right now.
I know there's so much to talk about and catch up on, so I guess I can't force you to do more right now, but me keeping it real quick.
Yeah.
As always, I usually complain about work, but I won't today because there's nothing to complain about. So update on life, we'll get there. I'm just excited to be back, to keep it real, and I didn't feel excitement until we sat back down on this couch and have the lights and we have John and we're just here all together again, because it was just like, Iris was like, you know we're supposed to film tomorrow, and I'm like, yeah, that's it. I just said yeah. And she was like, okay. And I don't know what else we talked about, but I'm like, sure, we can do it. Like she said, it's kind of like you have to jump into it. So I'm like, let's just do it. And all day today I had to do a million things. I've been like dying in this heat and melting every single day. So like getting from the gym to get here has been a process, but I'm happy to be here and I feel settled in. And keeping it real quick, it's great to be back. It's great to be back.
And then usually from keeping it real quick, we transition on to
Conversations from the soul.
Conversations from the soul. Do you want to explain Conversations from the soul?
Sure. Conversations from the soul is basically what it is. It's us always having our conversations on this couch, conversations with you guys that come from the soul. With Soulful She, it's big for us to keep it real as we start the show. Keep it honest, keep it genuine, and talk from our hearts, talk from our souls. And really that's what makes this podcast do what it does, because half the time we plan a million things to do and we never do it, but the one thing we always do is put our souls out there and are genuine about what we're here to talk about. So with Conversation from the Soul, we have a topic, a theme, or sometimes we 5 minutes before we be like, girl, what we talking about? I don't know, but it's gonna come from the soul. But Conversation from the Soul is like the meat of the whole podcast, and it's where we talk about whatever we pick that day. And today, since we haven't been here in a very long time, a year to be exact, we're gonna talk about this last year.
What happened was.
And who we were and who we are and how life is going. So yeah, that's Conversations from the Soul. How are we starting this off?
So, literally the last episode that we had on Soulful She. Do you remember?
Absolutely not. I wish you didn't ask, because I literally was like, I know she's not gonna ask.
So we'll probably put like a little segment right here of like 2 seconds or 5 seconds or like 3 seconds or like 2 seconds or like 5 seconds. So like while we're doing this right here, you are gonna be hearing something that is gonna be going on. But
John knows where it's gonna go. So wherever we point, we'll get it right eventually, since we pointed everywhere.
But with that being said, a lot has happened. And if I'm not mistaken, we were transitioning from jobs, we were transitioning from love lives, we were transitioning from mindsets, we were transitioning a lot of different ways. And just to step back a little bit, and like Daphne said, it's been a year, so within the time span that life has, that you have in your mind, what has happened? What has happened in a way that has changed who you are? What positions have you positioned yourself in that were very different than where you were? And any tea that you want to spill?
Sips tea. Or
while
sips.
You embraced the mess.
I didn't pick my mug, and that's the shade for today. She picked my mug. And it says, for those who can't see the mug and are listening, it says embrace the mess. And I'm gonna sip to that.
With embracing the mess, I can start off.
Oh, absolutely, thank you.
And say that I don't fully remember what we talked about in our last episode, but I do remember we were in a very big transitional period. And I do remember it was the start of a new chapter for me when it came to work. And it was a new chapter in, setting boundaries, because I do remember we had a conversation recently towards the end of it about breaking cycles and breaking boundaries, closing cycles. I think it is one of the last episodes that we have. And a lot has happened.
Girl, in the last year we have learned that blocking is your friend.
So I want to say, and I'm going to start it here, and I'll say it here first. So we had a blockade association, and
we have.
The story starts this way.
Okay. Oh, the shade is coming. Let me drink again.
So I guess we'll start in our love lives. But we had a blockade association, and president and vice president were a part of it.
I was just on the board.
You were on the board, and she was a high executive, okay? I was on e-board, and I was beginning to be like secretary, because blocking was not something that I did.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Me neither.
But I joined the association, and it was wonderful because I really feel like I see it a lot more, but removing the things that no longer serve you will allow you to for other things to open up. And I think blocking sounds harsh, but honestly, blocking is crucial for your mental health. And I think that blocking can be a healthy thing to do, even though it's perceived as something bad.
Well, it's only perceived as bad for those who are blocked.
But yeah, so I think at one point, the ladies that were in the blockade ended up leaving the blockade and left me alone, and decided that, like, you know, we're just gonna nilly-willy unblock people and do all that fun stuff. I stayed a trooper and stayed in the blockade and held it down until they decided to come back.
It is true. I had to pass the torch one time. I passed the torch and I stepped down. It was, I mean, to my defense, it was Mercury retrograde and people just make stupid decisions. Interim, okay, good word. I stepped down. I did. I'm not embarrassed. I'm absolutely not embarrassed. I feel no shame because you know what? I snapped out of it and they were reblocked again. And it only took me about a week and a half.
But actually, yeah, it was a short-lived. I was interim for like a very short hot minute.
And I mean, you up there now though, cause you've held it down. Cause let me be real, Eerees, a year ago, we would sit here and we would talk about a specific someone, and we'd be like, "Girl, it's time to block. It's time to block. What is the reason that we're still having conversations? Why are we doing this?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna block." 2 seconds later, Eerees is like this, and I'm like, "Eerees, I know you are not sending him a goodbye message before you block him." And she was like,
Or an explanation.
And then she erased the whole thing, and I was like, they don't deserve an explanation. That leaves room for conversations for things that don't need to be talked about anymore, and that's the point of the block. And now that we are here, it's the growth for me. I slipped up one time, but now, you know, the block is on strong, and since then, more people have followed and also been blocked.
Yeah.
Everywhere too. It ain't just like a phone number. It's every step of the way that person can have contact, they are blocked.
And I think that I'm gonna take it a step further and say the blockade is not just referring to romantic relationships, but
even though it's heavily
yes, we were heavily speaking on romantic relationships, but I think in general as well. I've been doing a very good job of blocking things that are not going to be serving me, in the sense of like saying yes to opportunities, initiatives, projects, and things of that nature, and really allowing me to be like, okay, internally, introspectively, what is, who is, how is Eerees, and how is she going to be shaping the world around her. And I think with that being said, when I ended up taking the job that I have now, which I completely love very, very much, that was an opportunity to, maybe the word block might not be the best word, but rather the transition into something that I was doing because I had the opportunity versus something that I truly wanted to do. Because I know that in this podcast, I definitely mentioned that fundraising was something big that I liked and loved. And ever since I stepped into the mindset of wanting to do fundraising and working in development, it was always a strategy move. Ever since I like even brought up the idea, it was always, I know that I can do direct service, I know that I can do stuff in nonprofit, but I knew that I needed the resource of fundraising and I needed the resource of development to be able to do anything that I put my mind to, or anything that I'm gonna do in my future. That I know that whatever career path that I decide to do, I need to know about fundraising and I need to know about development to be able to know what I'm gonna do in the future. shape what that does. And so me transitioning from fundraising into the work that I do now, it's pretty awesome. I don't do fundraising anymore, but I feel like in the short time that I was in fundraising, I got a sense of at least the big picture of what does fundraising mean, how does that affect the organization, and what are the tools that are needed for successful fundraising. And I know that I would be able to, at the very least, know who I need to put into place when I am going to be doing a project that has the mindfulness of fundraising involved. So
Snaps to that.
Thank you. And with that, I love the work that I do now, and I will say that I am a person that I would have loved, appreciated, and begged to have in college when I was in college. And I'm super grateful for the position, because every time I step into my office, I'm thinking, wow, like the things that I did today, if it had happened when I was there, or when I was in college, and I would have helped the people that were in my position and my friends in the ways that I'm doing now, we would be eternally grateful, and who knows where else we would be. I'm not saying that we're not in good positions now, but I think that the support that I give, and the support that with everything that I do in all the departments, the way that we work together, it's just amazing. We're rock stars. I want to say it here, and I said it now, but the ways that all of the departments come together, we're rock stars.
I've heard stories, and Eerees is doing amazing work, so yay. Yeah. I'm proud of you. And I feel like with Conversations from the Soul and us catching up, I'm going to keep it kind of in the same route as you in terms of some life stuff, career, and then we can transition again to you again about other things that have happened in the year. Because so much has happened, y'all. So much has happened. For me, last year, I was in the same boat of like learning about my boundaries, about breaking down the habit of people pleasing, and breaking down the habit of always having to just jump into helping other people out and put myself to the side. And I felt for many, many years, I literally have been putting myself to the side and just kind of like coasting along in terms of career more specifically, but in general with life, just coasting and always helping people, which I still do now, but I've also learned to kind of rearrange my priorities to emphasize like there are things I need to work on for myself, and I have to handle those things, because I will still be in the same spot and people will be further along that I'm helping, and I'm stuck. So I worked hard on not being stuck anymore. So the blockade happened. I've been blocking all types of people, all types of energy. I've also been, I've always said, and I've said a million times, that I'm an introvert. So if there's spaces I don't want to be in, I don't go to, but I feel like now it's more so like if I don't want to be there, there ain't no FOMO. I don't want to be there, and I don't have to be there. I'm not missing anything. Anyone that's there is living their life, having fun. I'm so happy you are. I'm content with my corner. That's one big thing for me that's happened in the last year. I also turned 30.
Whoop, whoop.
So,
whoop, whoop.
And with turning 30, I feel like all of a sudden I hit 30 and a lot of growth that was happening finally settled in a sense.
Saturn returning.
Yeah, Saturn return did what it did. And then when I learned what that was and realized when it ended, I was like, okay, I learned a lot of lessons. Now I'm here, and not only did I learn better, but I know how to do better in certain senses. And I feel like if things feel like they're crumbling down, I know I can handle it and pick it up and clean it up and build it back up again. So that's me now, personally, in terms of work. I quit my job last year.
Ooh.
My full-time job that was paying all my bills.
Ooh.
I quit it about a week before I started this software engineering program that I got into. I was first rejected, and they called me a week before it would start saying they had a spot for me. And with this program, I'll say the program name, Resilient Coders, because I want the listeners and people who are here to also know about Resilient Coders, because it changed my life. And it's something that I hope that if people are interested will reach out and I can talk about a million times over. But I was called by Resilient Coders. They had a spot for me. They were starting in a week, and it's a full-time boot camp. Like, I wasn't seeing outside. I didn't see outside. I didn't see outside for 6 months. I didn't see much sleep either. I didn't see much of anything other than coding and my laptop for about 5-6 months. But that happened in August. I quit my job the week before. I didn't give a damn about money, how I'm paying my bills. I just said the people that I just spoke to the people that I love and was like, hey, this is happening right now. I'm just going to need support wherever I can get support. Other than that, like, I have to handle this. So I did that. I finished the program, and I am a full-time software engineer for an amazing company that I am very proud to work at. The mission was something that was very big for me, and the way that things aligned through the process, like, I knew I wanted to work at this company before I even knew I was going to jump into engineering and quit everything and get here. It just worked out so beautifully, and I struggled. I cried a lot, but I have this job that I still struggle and stress over sometimes, but I'm very, very grateful, and I'm a software engineer. I'm a tech baddie, y'all. I'm a tech baddie.
Black tech baddie.
So I have a t-shirt too, Baddie and Tech. I gotta wear that on another episode because, I need y'all to understand.
So being a baddie tech.
In tech.
Baddie and tech. Tech and baddie. Baddie and tech.
Yeah, all that.
How was that transition? Because, like, I want the listeners to know how that transition happened. Like, the struggles, the like, what was going on in your head to, like, keep you going, like, let us in there.
Nah, okay. So I was in a full-time boot camp that taught us how to code. So they taught us front end, back end, which some people and most people won't understand, but they just taught us the intricacies of getting into a software engineering role. And with that, I learned a lot, and I could break it down more, and maybe I'll break it down in other episodes, but it was just full-time, constantly learning how to code, and not only learning how to code, but breaking down how we were taught to learn, and how everything we were taught about learning really wasn't helping us learn, and having to learn how to learn again in a different way.
Oh, wow.
So it's like fighting the whole process of learning something new, but also fighting the fact of not falling into habits of how we used to learn, to actually retain the information, actually learn the information that can lead us to actually get a role that we can thrive in.
Sheesh.
So that was the whole process. It was 6 months of learning how to code, networking a lot, and I'm an introvert, so y'all know I was mad. Every other week, well, every week basically we had to network, but every other week we had to have, like, chats with people virtually. And, we all hate COVID, but one thing I ain't mad at is that I could do it virtually, because they had to do it in person before, and the introvert in me was not already feeling online, but I had to network with people, talk a lot, build up my social media around that space. So it was a lot. I cried a lot. I was stressed a lot. Imposter syndrome was heavy, and I just felt like I'm not smart enough to do this. Why did I do this? How did I get here? But I would have those feelings, and then other times I'm like, honestly, the only way I'm leaving this program without graduating is if they block me and drag me out. Like, there was no option of leaving, because some people don't make it through. It is something that is full-time, and it takes up your life. So, like, it is hard on your mental. And then it worked its way into from summer to winter. So then the winter blues come in. So for me, it was just like, I don't care how I'm feeling right now. The end goal is not that far away. I can do this for 6 months. And the only way I'm not going to graduate is if they block me and drag me out. There was no other option.
That you were giving yourself?
No, absolutely not. It wasn't happening. I don't care how many times I cried. I don't care. I had 2 panic attacks at one point. I don't care. I was like, I'll go through all this, but I'm going to graduate, and I did. And I graduated with a job. So that networking. So the thing is, I'm an introvert, but I still can, talk to people and have conversations. And I feel like when I had my mindset on where I wanted to go and the company I wanted to work for, I just honed in and was just like, I'm working here. So I don't know about y'all, but I'm already working here.
I'm crying.
So y'all need to catch up. But yeah, I got the job. And I've been working there now more than 6 months. And I'm a software engineer. And other than, I just don't know how in depth I want to go right now.
Yeah.
But that was my transition into it. And now that I'm here, I still have my cases of imposter syndrome. I still sometimes feel like I don't have a clue. But then there's days like today, because today was actually a good day at work, where it was just like, I know some shit. I learned some shit, I know some shit, and I'm learning every day. And I think one thing about being in this job, which is something I've always loved since I was younger, since MySpace days, and I don't know why I didn't think about going to school for it. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. I started with chemistry. Chemistry didn't go well, so I said no science for me at all. That's what happened. But, oh well, life happened. I moved on. We're here, and I finally did it. So I'm happy that I'm here, and I'm finally doing exactly what I wanted to do. So.
Yay! So what I'm hearing is that you did not allow the fear of not having a cushion. You did not allow the fear of failure.
Broke.
Exactly. Not in a bad way, but like you you did not allow these things that sometimes hinder people and keep people stuck to stop you from the goal that like deep inside you knew that you always wanted to try.
When I was getting interviewed to get into the program, I was asked why I was there, and I was like, honestly, I've been through all these things. I have nothing to lose. I literally have nothing to lose. At this point, I just have to jump head first, because there's nothing. I lose my job, and what? I don't like that job anyways. I don't spend time outside, and what? I'm an introvert anyways. Like, there's all these things that I was just like, yeah, I could fight everything to go against actually doing this right now, but why would I do that if this is something I genuinely wanted to do?
Yeah.
So for me, it was just like, I know I'm gonna struggle. I know I'm gonna be stressed. I hate not knowing. I hate being confused. Like, on my bad days are days that I just don't know what I'm doing. My good days are days that like I knew what I was doing. That's how I naturally feel. So I had a lot of bad days because I just hated not knowing what I was doing. But we here now, and I'm grateful, and I'm learning every day, and I still have my qualms with myself sometimes, and we all do. But in the end, people ask me, like, what do you do for a living? And I say, I'm a software engineer. And I glow because that's some shit I'm proud about, so.
And we see the glow.
Okay.
We see the glow.
So if y'all have questions, let me know. We'll talk about it more.
Definitely. And then there was this, like, thing that we did that, like, we, like, went on this plane. And
Girl,
like,
it was like 2 weeks ago. So we jumped the whole year. We said forget everything else.
Well, what else?
I mean, I got the job. You got the job.
Yeah.
We blocked people. We created boundaries. I turned 30. You almost there. And we've been enjoying what life has to offer us. And in enjoying what life has to offer us, and also finding our own enjoyment, what did we do recently?
So I'll say this. We definitely had it in one of our vision boards. So we had this vision board, and I think we might have shown you guys because it was an easel.
It was an episode of like the easel and the poster. Yeah.
Basically. So last year, COVID happened, so not a lot, and we're still in COVID.
The last 2 years, and we are.
Yeah, we're still here. But in the height of it, we were supposed to head off to another country and enjoy the beauty of music through Afro Nation. And unfortunately, that ended up getting canceled / postponed to this upcoming year, and we made it happen. We actually went to Portugal and enjoyed our lives.
Yes.
Well, I enjoyed myself.
I did enjoy myself as well.
Yeah.
Yes, Afro Nation was a whole process, but we made it happen, and we were flourishing in Portugal. And honestly, y'all, if there's anyone that would flourish in Lisboa or in Portugal in general, it's Eerees herself. And I knew from the time that we initially planned to do Afro Nation that if there's anyone that would thrive, it would be Eerees. I knew this, and I told you a million times. Every step of the way, I'm just like, someone's just gonna have the best life. Like, this place is your place, and that's absolutely what happened. Yeah. She flourished.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it a lot.
And Afro Nation was... I'm gonna go first because I feel like you'll say more positive things than me. So like we'll end it on a high note in terms of Afro Nation. But for me, I've been to Portugal before.
Oh yeah.
So like I already knew certain things about getting there. So I was excited to go back because Lisboa never owes me anything. I always have an amazing time. So going to Afro Nation was great. I had a great time. We were on a beach, so it was a lot of walking in the sand. So my legs were very toned by the end of it, and I was real tired of sloshing around in that sand. Also, it was 3 days, and I don't know if it's the 30 in me, but after a day and a half, I was like, I don't know if I got another day and a half left in me, but we did it. We did it, Joe. We did it.
We did it, Joe. We did it.
We made it to the end, and I did enjoy it, even if I struggled. The heat and the sand, well, it wasn't that hot, but the sand itself, that's what had me. But other than that, the music was amazing. The beautiful black people everywhere was so, like, if there's anything that I will always remember about going there is seeing all the beautiful black people just having fun and enjoying life. Like, for me, that was more than anything else for the festival. Yeah. And then after that is Burna Boy, because Burna Boy was so amazing. And I'm like absolutely in love with him now. And honestly, he's coming and he has a concert on Friday. And I think
Friday?
Yes, and I think I might pay an extreme amount of money to see this man again because he can perform, okay?
Yeah.
But that's me in Afro Nation.
I'm gonna say yes to that too, in the sense that like Burna Boy, his performance was one of the, like, there was like a zillion performers, but the people that we paid attention to, Burna Boy's performance was captivating. Super, super captivating. In general, did I love the festival? Hell yes. Like, when I tell you, I think that, like, I was overwhelmed.
Insert clips of Eerees at Afro Nation here.
I was overwhelmed. Like, so the first day that we got there, can I just say, like, I was just like...
For those who are listening and not watching the video, she's looking around in many different directions.
I'm looking at the people, and it's not just like guys, it was girls. It was the guys, it was the girls, it was the styles, it was the colors, it was the patterns, it was the designs, it was the accents, it was the language. It was like the combination of it all. I was like, why do I live in Massachusetts? Like,
that part.
Like, what?
Part.
But it was more because, like, various people, cultures, and, like,
languages
came together in one space. And I was just overwhelmed in a beautiful, good way. But I loved every second of the festival. Afro Nation, you guys did awesome. Did I like the sand? No. But did I care? No.
I wasn't drunk enough.
And I wasn't drunk either. But it was, I think I was drunk on just the views. That's what I'll say. I was drunk on the views because she
also fell in love with another performer, Daju. Yes. Which I also understand because he's a French-speaking singer and rapper, and his voice is deep and beautiful. His singing was like everything. And it just, I was captivated, and then I looked to my right, and Eerees was just like, who is this man? And I'm like, I know Eerees, I feel you. And from there, we were in love with him, and it just kept getting better and better. And one thing about the beautiful melanated people is every color, every pattern, everything looks amazing on them. So everyone just looked fucking good.
Yeah. So
good. And everyone tried, and everyone like showed up and was like, we're not here just to party. We're here to look good and feel good. I mean, even we were out there like, I mean, by day 3, we were like, whatever, we don't care. But the first 2 days, we were like, we're gonna wear the best of the best. I mean, the 3rd day, we still look fly because we never just, you know.
Yeah.
Our, like, we ain't trying is still better than a lot of people trying. But other than that.
Go ahead.
It's true story, though. But we were out there, and everyone was beautiful, and it was beautiful.
Yeah. I think by the 3rd day, I was just so enamored with everything that was there that I literally was just like, this is my last day. I need to capture it all. I need to capture it all. I need to tell you that you're beautiful. I need to show you that you're beautiful. I need to do it all. And I remember my fave, it's literally started with this guy that was walking by, and he had an apron. He had an apron on. He had a dashiki apron. And I was just like, bro, what? He had an apron and some shorts on. So it was like an apron, a shirtless apron. I was just like, this is how you came here? Like, what? And you look good? So literally I was just like, can I capture this moment? And after that, every time I asked somebody that, they were like, bet. Tell me how to pose.
Did anyone say no?
I think one person said no because they had to go to the bathroom. They were walking towards the bathroom. And I remember there was this one group of, there was this gorgeous girl. She had blue, and then she had like a hairstyle, but then she was with other people, and just her walking, she was just like, you can tell that she was just like, I'm here and I'm walking, but like I'm showing you who I am. And I literally was just like, do that whole thing all over again. And she was just like, bet. And I recorded her walking towards me, and it was... We have to insert clips so y'all can see. Like, this is one video that Eerees put together that is beautiful. All the people she got. And then there's this one picture of this beautiful black man. I'm telling you, black boy joy that I saw in his face. It was the biggest smile. He was in a crisp white outfit, and that's my favorite picture. That picture needs to win a prize because Eerees got him in just in a beautiful essence that y'all need to see it. Picture's gonna be here somewhere. John's gonna figure it out. So y'all need to see what I'm talking about. But it also made me really appreciate what videographers and photographers like John do, because you are capturing the essence of people. And it was fun to do what I was doing that day because I was like, I remember myself transitioning from like, let me take a picture of you, to realizing that I just can't say, let me take a picture of you to everyone, because once you say that to someone, sometimes they don't know what to do, even though I had seen it prior to, and that's why I went to them. So it was like engaging in them where they feel so comfortable and loose that then you just capture that moment before it runs away.
Direct that Eerees is out there.
But
she's out in that sand, sloshing around, running and catching up to people.
No, but actually,
she'd be like, you look to the right and to the left and be like, where's Eerees? And then we look all the way down there, and Eerees is over there with somebody, just capturing a beautiful moment. And we're just like, go ahead, Eerees, do you? Just don't get lost.
Basically. So that was really, really fun. And then Lisboa in general, I loved every second of it. It was a breath of
fresh air,
yumminess.
That's true. We ate well. We had a great apartment in a great location. We went to many, many beautiful places to eat. Because honestly, if there's anything we wanted to do more than anything, it was eat. So we did that. Mm-hmm. And we went to some nice bars. That one bar that was across the street from the apartment was really cool and nice.
Which I will then segue into. We went to this bar, and it was called the Cocktail Room. And when I tell you that, like, we had maybe I had 3 cocktails. We all had cocktails, but I had 3 cocktails. And when I tell you the last cocktail, I fell in love. But it also reminded me why I love the cocktail, because of like the combination and the effort and the love that was poured into it. Because I remember having a conversation with the bartender and was like, I loved the violet in the last drink that I had. Can you please make a drink? Don't tell me what it is, but just make a drink with violet. And so it was like she decided what that drink was going to be. All I asked was for one ingredient, and she exceeded my expectations of a drink. And I live to be able to do that for someone. And so hopefully, with that being said, the drinks that we are drinking tonight, you can't see it because we're drinking from our lovely mugs.
Again, I didn't pick my mug.
But I created a mango sangria, and it is very, very yummy in my perspective. And it is Melovier, John, feel free to do what you gotta do and the beautiness of it. But I created a mango sangria, and I've been creating in general. I think another thing since the time that we left here to now, I've always loved drinks. I think my family were very big on having a signature drink at all of the events that we had. If you've ever been to one of my house parties or house events, you know that with the party invitation, sometimes the dress code, there's always a signature drink that happens in the house. And so I think with my love of always wanting to have a signature drink, making drinks has always been awesome. For Christmas, my mother ended up getting me a cocktail shaker, so I have all the things to be able to make a drink. And I think I want to take it to the next level and really become a bartender, because I think I make some yummy drinks, and I think that once I get the basics really down packed, I'll be able to experiment even more in ways that I'll be able to be okay, instead of me putting fruity stuff together, I will know how to put certain things that don't mesh together in a way that will still make a good drink. So stay tuned. I definitely told my IG community, if you follow me, that I'll be doing a testing shenanigan, and I think I'm gonna call it a sobremesa. So look out for the sobremesa, which I'm going to hopefully create in the backyard, and the signature drinks and tests
I love it.
are gonna come out. So look out for that.
I went a while wanting to be a bartender and learn how to make drinks. And then I just didn't think about it anymore. And all of a sudden, Eerees has found a way to Eerees is more of a doer than I am. When she says she's gonna do something, she's gonna do something. You have put your heart into it, and you have made some drinks that I'm just I don't need to bartend because I got Eerees. I still would to get the job, but I feel the money would be great and all that, but you have a love that you pour into it that I feel like you do great.
Thank you.
You would do amazing.
Thank
you do
you.
amazing now, so keep going, girl, and maybe I'll catch up someday. But for now, I'm gonna just enjoy your drinks.
But yeah, and I think that one thing, without spilling the beans, is that as we continue to play around with Soulful She and what does Soulful She mean collectively and what does Soulful She mean individually, just look out for that. Look out for that.
Individually. Yeah. We had talked about Afro Nation. We ventured into how you have been making all these beautiful cocktails. Me, other than that, I just started reading again. I only read one book, so I'm not even gonna say I've really been reading, but I'm trying to get into that again and make my life come back to normal. I think that's something I didn't mention when going through the program. I was so in that mindset that once I graduated, I was how do I live normally again and how do I have routine? Which I feel it's been more than 6 months. So at this point, I've created a routine and I'm slowly getting back to it. But yeah, so the next thing on the list, since I'm not trying to do everything at once, so then I would quit everything at once, is read more books and not be on social media so much. And I've only done it for a weekend, but I'm proud of myself. I'm only 50 pages away from finishing this book I just started, and
That's really good.
call me a reader.
You gotta start somewhere.
Right. So I feel maybe I'll start mentioning books on the show when I continue reading. That's me holding myself accountable.
I like that.
So.
I like that.
So once I finish this book in the next episode, depending how I feel about this book, because right now it's not going how I like it. It went through this happy phase, and right now the book is not really happy, and my emotions are a wreck. But we'll see how I feel next episode.
Okay.
I'll probably talk shit about it. That's how it's going. At this point, it sounds like I'm gonna be talking shit about it.
Sounds like we're gonna be getting book recommendations and drink recommendations.
Hey, look at us. Look at us just flourishing.
But with everything that's been going on, I think that one of the stuff that I love about the show that we start off from, you know, keeping it real quick, really sharing what we are bringing into this space with, and then diving into conversations from the soul. We then transition onto stepping into you. And stepping into you, I wanted to intentionally put it right after conversation from the soul, because I think that one of the biggest things that I love to do, and if you know me, you know, I will always do this, is how are we reflecting on ourselves? How are we reflecting on our decisions? How are we reflecting on what's going on about us? How are we being introspective with everything that is happening? And you will definitely get to know me if you don't know me, but that is the type of person that I am. I get into the feelings, get soul deep into the souls that, like, sometimes it's uncomfortable for people, and that's just how I am. I've come to embrace it. And with stepping into you, it's how are we taking the conversation from the soul and thinking about how are we stepping into ourselves a little more authentically, a little more vulnerably, a little more ourselves, to do better, to be better, or to just be. And with that being said, thinking about stepping into you, with all that has happened, Daphne, what have you learned about yourself? Because, like, there have been a lot of changes. There have been a lot of hiccups. There have been a lot of, like, things that you didn't realize that you might be able to overcome. There have been ups and downs. And so with all of that being said, what have you learned about yourself?
I feel like it's cliche when people are like, I'm such a different person now from a year ago, but, like, it's true. Like, I'm a completely different person in so many aspects from a year ago. I think that I've always been stern in certain ways. I've always been very loving and funny and fun and caring my whole life. But I feel like in the last year, I've honed in on my sternness, in a sense of being like, I'm about this. I'm a grown-ass woman. This is how things are going to be for me. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. If you like it, cool. You can stick around if you'd like. But in that aspect of my life, I've learned that, like, it is what it is literally a motto.
Yeah.
Things happen, things don't go well. People and expectations I've created for people don't weigh down on me like they used to. It's just that I've gotten to a point where I'm just very understanding in general, and I've been understanding for a very long time, but I've just shed those expectations that have been placed, and I've just changed my perspective on, like, you can be hurt by people, yes, all these things can happen, but, like, perspective, right? One way I see it is not how everyone else is going to see it or how they see it, and I've just learned to grow from that and not be so hurt about certain things. So in the sense of, like, being stern in how I feel and understanding how I feel and be able to talk through how I feel, but also not putting that pressure on other people when it's something that is mine to handle, but also knowing that if it is other people, removing them from my life if they are affecting me negatively. And it's just I shrug my shoulders, and it sounds like it's easy, and it's not easy sometimes to remove people from your life, but I've gotten to the point that it is something that I can just shrug my shoulders and be like, well, I removed them from my life. And then I moved on. And that's where I'm at now in that sense. Other than that, I don't know. I just feel wiser. I don't know why.
I feel wiser.
I just feel wiser. I feel like I think about certain things a lot differently. I think about the relationships I have with people in a way that I show that I care. I'm a very sarcastic person, but I've, like, let that go a long time ago because I've learned that sarcasm doesn't sit well with most people. I roll my eyes, but I really learned to understand that, like, the funny stuff sometimes just needs to go by the wayside. Like, not every moment has to be a ha-ha, hee-hee moment or make a funny comment, but I can still be funny. And I'm not saying that even with you. I'm just saying in general. Like,
yeah.
I used to be so sarcastic in so many ways, but I've learned that, like, I really need to respect and understand people and how they are and how they perceive things. And I don't give a fuck about people, to emphasize that first, but for the people I care about, also understanding that I am gonna respect their boundaries and how they feel about certain things, and not have someone say they don't like something and not respect that. And the same way that if I don't like something and it needs to be respected now at this point in my life, like if I say no about something, it's really no. It's the same way that if someone told me no, I'd be like, cool. And honestly, I'm proud of you, because it's hard to do that.
It's hard to set your boundaries.
Exactly. And I'm at that point in my life, and I can do bad about myself is still a motto. I don't give a fuck. You can call me a bitch and whatever, every which way, but I know deep down I'm not that person. I know the people that care about me and love me know I'm not that person. But if you want to call me that, go ahead, because if I have to be, I can. So, by all means, say whatever you want to say. I'm still living, I'm still thriving, I'm enjoying my life for me and enjoying the people that I love. And it's in the simplest form. I'm just doing me in the best ways to support me and be happy with me and the people I love. Other than that, the life's just, I mean, this country is already going to shit. What else am I going to do? I might as well find ways to be happy.
But actually, I think that's one very huge important thing that specifically with COVID happened. It's like, really, we don't know how long we're going to be here. We don't know what is going to happen. If monkeypox is going to take over, if, like every crazy shenanigan, like, we don't know. We don't know what tomorrow will look like. We don't know if Jeff Bezos or whoever the next millionaire becomes, decides that he's taking a group of people, bringing them to Mars, and then blowing up Earth. Like, we don't know. We don't know. We really don't know. But with that being said, like, you really have to enjoy the people that you have around you, the moments that you have around you, and also, like, let go if you need to let go, and allow to come in if you want to allow to come in. Because right. I think that one of the biggest things that maybe I didn't share too much about it through this conversation, but like one thing that I'm learning every single day and constantly remembering every single day is that, like, you have a perspective that you don't have the next person's perspective. So you really have no idea what's going on in their head, and they have no idea what's going on in your head. And so if it means that you are a villain in someone's eyes, let that happen. But at the same time, if they come to terms with, like, okay, I have reflected, I have figured out, I have, like, stepped back and seen what is going on and realized that maybe you weren't the villain, but maybe I was going through something myself, allow them to come back in if you want them to come back in, but at least giving that space. But like giving that space to, like, if you come in, you come in, if you don't, you don't, but also not being so gung-ho to, like, a specific expectation, a specific result. Because I think one other thing that I have learned myself through this experience in general is that, like, I am capable of a lot. Like, I am capable of a lot. I can do, like, if I set my mind to do something, I will make it happen. Will it be in the way that I thought it was gonna be? No. So, like, yes, removing that expectation that, like, do I want something? Yes, but is it gonna be given to me, or am I gonna receive it in the way that I thought it was gonna be nicely packaged? No. But that doesn't mean that you're not going to receive it. And so really learning those things through everything that I did, specifically I think with Portugal, it's just learning of, like, I got everything that I wanted to get done. Was it in the way that I thought I was going to receive it? No, but I still did everything that I wanted to do, and I did everything that I wanted to do. And I'm learning that even now, as I continue to, like, look through my room and through the things, that it's just like I have really set out to do certain things, and I've made it happen. I have literally made it happen, and I'm excited. But any other last thoughts of what you have learned since the last time that our soul friends were here till now?
I was thinking about it while you've been talking. It, like, dawned on me as well that I've learned to, like, take it easy on myself.
What does that mean?
That means if my body is saying you're tired, then I am not pushing myself. I am taking a break. I know, and I've learned in a sense, when I'm going to push myself and I'm going to work hard because I want to get something done. But I've also learned that, like, I'm just gonna take a break, or I'm not gonna do anything today, or I'm gonna relax, or I'm gonna binge the show and not feel guilty about it. Because what is all this rush and hubbub to do all these things when, like, literally life is still happening with or without me in a certain sense?
It is.
And if I'm burning myself out, because I still feel some stuff being burnt out, but I'm working my way out of it. But we, and so many of us are so burned out that it got to a point for me that was just like, why am I still trying to chug along when I can just stop
and breathe
and
not feel guilty about breathing? I think that was the biggest thing when you said all of that. The biggest thing that came out was guilt. Not allowing the guilt of just breathing, because we're in a society that's just like,
we have to go and we have to make this money to buy the shit because of all the marketing ads that are targeted against us to buy all this shit. So
the little rabbit hole you just went.
I could go deeper, but I stopped there.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the society that we live in, it's always about going, moving, making money, doing these things. And then even through the last few years, like, you have to be accomplishing all these things. And it's like, actually, my happiness is not based on accomplishing what you say is accomplishment. Like, my mental health and being happy and working on myself is a big accomplishment. So for me, like this last weekend, it was hot outside. Everybody want to be outside, right to the streets. I went to my father's house. I did my laundry and I was in the AC. I said, y'all enjoy the outside, but me, I'm not finna turn up.
See me?
I'm not finna turn up. I'm gonna keep myself inside. I hope y'all have fun. But me, I'm gonna just chill here, drink my water. You know what I mean?
Your water?
Yeah. That's it.
But I think that with all of that, one thing to keep in mind for our soul friends, one thing I like to do is, in stepping into you, is giving a question for you to think about. Just the same way that I threw a question at Daphne, Emily, it's also throwing it back at you guys with the hope that you will share with us your interpretations and your thoughts and your opinions of, okay, time has happened. A lot of time has happened, because from the time that happened now to the years, months, weeks, days that have happened, you have changed in one way, shape, or form, or something has happened. And so the question is, do you reflect on the time that has passed? How have you changed? How have you grown? How have you expanded, evolved, and really become the person that you are today? The person that you are today is not the person that you were yesterday. Yesterday's price is not today's price. And so with,
I know that's right.
with that, why isn't it? You know, why isn't today's price not the same as yesterday's price? Because of A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And have you reflected on the beautifulness that has allowed you to become from A to B? And this was our little short segment of catching y'all up on what we do, but then also you reflecting on, like, since the last time that we chatted, what have you done? How have you expanded? How have you reflected on the changes that has happened to you?
And celebrate it.
And celebrate it. And also, how have you stopped feeling guilty about just breathing? Have you breathed?
They can wait. I don't know who, but they can wait.
The email can wait till tomorrow.
Turns off computer. It's my time. Like all the videos on TikTok, Gen Z's been doing it right about work. I'm sorry, this meeting is over. Actually, not even I'm sorry. Exit Zoom. Leave meeting.
I can't do that, but like I'll definitely ease my way.
Have I done that? Absolutely not. But I'm just saying.
But yes.
Next on the list of things to accomplish, exiting when it's time to exit, and your time is of value, and do with what you want with your time, for the betterment of you and your happiness, and then celebrate it.
Celebrate it. And I think that was stepping into you. And from stepping into you is fashion forward.
Well, we talked about that.
And that's why I wanted to share with them. They're used to fashion forward, so give them a little detail
so fashion
on.
forward is when I talk about fashion, my love of fashion and all these things, because I like to get dressed. One of my other mottos is, if you look good, you feel good. I don't dress for nobody but myself. Like, honestly, the point of me getting dressed is so I can catch my reflection. That's it. If you see me walking by all these windows, I am looking at myself. I don't know about y'all. Y'all can look at me too, but I'll be looking at me. But with fashion forward, I was supposed to be talking about fashion and all these things, and I've learned through the process of Soulful She and talking or trying to talk about fashion forward is that, like, I didn't put so much effort into it because I have a love for something, but doesn't mean I want to talk about it so much, or like there's things I want to talk about. It's just a feeling I have. So for me, fashion forward has been difficult because it's not just something I just want to talk about and throw something out there and just figure something to say to y'all. It has to resonate. So for me, I am removing fashion forward to be realistic because I have really done nothing with it since we started in the last 2 years.
You have done stuff.
I've done some stuff, but you know, like the Virgo in me is like, you haven't done anything. No, for what I want from it and something that I wanted to build upon, it's not doing that. And what we just talked about, I'm not going to exert myself to force something to happen that I'm not feeling. So in that, I still love fashion. Y'all can still keep looking at me. I'll still be looking at my reflection. And when things resonate, I will still share it with y'all. But I'm going to remove it from the show and rethink what I want to add into this. And maybe the books thing or something else might fall into place. But for now, I only want to keep it natural. And that wasn't feeling natural for me. So from fashion forward, and how every other episode would go with fashion forward, I say like 2 words and be like, on to the next. Now going to resonating with she.
Which is a perfect thing because now you're sharing what's resonating with you and what's not resonating with you.
Exactly. So I've already done that segment. Your turn.
Ma'am?
What's resonating with she?
Ma'am?
Or explain to the people.
So resonating with she, I think we plopped it on here because we wanted to also not only share what we were going through, not only dive into the deep conversations, not only explore introspectively ourselves, but also what's going on. You know, like this was like our way of like pop culturing, but like what's happening now, but like for us ourselves, because honestly we could only speak for ourselves. We can't speak for the masses, and so therefore it was like our way of being like, okay, what are we resonating with right now? What is a book that we're thinking about recently? What is a song that has been replaying in our head, and all that jazz. And honestly, what's resonating with me lately, so my family, my sister-in-law and my 2 brothers, we came together to buy a movie screen, an inflatable movie screen that we put in our backyard. And when I tell you it was dope, it was dope. The first thing that I played on that movie screen was Usher's Tiny Desk. Watch this. It was dope. It was dope. To be able to see that, like, but in large screen, it was dope. But now that is there, we have movie nights. And the last movie that we started to watch was Shang-Chi, which is a Marvel movie. And when I tell you, I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love. I loved it. I haven't even finished it yet because we had to pause it. But like, it is a really good film. I don't know too much about films, so like I don't know what type of critic I am, but I love romantic sappy movies. I like action, and I like romantic movies.
And Halloween.
And Halloween movies, yes. But yes, like Shang-Chi, since the minute that I watched the film to where I stopped, I've enjoyed every aspect of it, like all of it. So right now that's the film that's been resonating with she.
Anything else resonating?
Another thing that's been resonating with me is my earrings. So if you are around me, I feel like my earring game is always like something that I tried to work on. And I will say, I received that inspiration from a former supervisor that I had. Her name was Elena B. White. So it's her whole government name, but she works at Mass Art. She was an amazing supervisor. I love her to pieces even till this day. One thing that I loved about her was her transparency, her honesty, but also her earrings. She always had magnificent earrings, and I remember since then I always loved signature pieces because I've always played around with expression, but I think then and there I really was like, okay, I think I started buying earrings for her, but then I was like, okay, but like I like these and I like how they look, and since then I've always tried to play around with earrings, and I found these bad boys in Portugal, and I think they were like $7, €7, and I was like, I can't not go home without these, and I feel like I've worn them already 3 times. I'm in love.
Very
But
good, though.
you'll definitely be seeing a lot more earring games in the show, so I hope you enjoy.
Resonating with me. I'm a hoop girl first when it comes to earrings, so I'll just clarify. I love earrings, but like, just give me some hoops. That's how I've been lately. But in terms of what's resonating with me, what's resonating with She is one, the book I was talking about. It's called It Ends With Us by Colleen. I had her name in my head, Colleen Hoover. And I bought the book because this one girl on TikTok, she had so many videos of just like different reactions that were so dramatic to this book. Like one was like swooning, the other one was like crying. And I'm like, I want to get into reading, and if there's a book that's going to get that out of me and get me going, it's this book. And I'm literally almost done with it, and it's been like 3 days. And at first I was judging homegirl from TikTok, and it's like, why are you reacting like this? You're doing too much. I'm reading the same book now, and I'm not seeing it. Until it did what it did, and now I understand. I understand why she was reacting the way she did, because the book flipped completely on me, and now I'm just not content. I'm not happy. And now I need to finish the book, and they need to give me the happy ending I deserve because I've made it this far. So that's what's resonating with me.
Anything else?
Other than that, I'm still in love with Burna Boy. Every day I fall further and further in love with him because he's an amazing performer. He's someone that you can, on the stage, just watching him, you can see he was having the time of his life.
He really was.
And he was making sure he was giving us an amazing show, and I felt it. And I was already enamored with him before, but when I saw him perform, I was just like, wow, I need you in my life forever. Like, I'm in love with you, and I don't think he'll ever understand or have a clue who I am, but it's okay because Burna Boy, I am absolutely in love with you. And since then, his album dropped, and I've had it on repeat, and it's so good. And out of all the songs, the song right now that's like really popular is Last. But let me tell you something, it's a reason. There's a reason.
Yeah.
That song is a hit, and it's about a breakup, but I will twerk some to it. I will. And then I will cry to it. I've listened to it on repeat and felt bad and sad, and I felt the feels of a breakup and felt the feels for him and his breakup, and then also been like, but this is my jam. Yes, that's what's resonating with me. Other than that, things that we didn't mention, things we took from Portugal that I feel like resonates with us. But when we were in Portugal, we had a lot of catchphrases.
We really did.
And we simmered down, but we were going strong in Portugal. Would you like to share with people?
Share with the mandem.
So one thing.
So I feel like if anybody actually heard us, they would beat the shit out of us.
Not me. Y'all be safe though.
Ma'am, we were disrespectful.
We were.
But we were having fun at the same
They
time.
were making fun of us too, us being Americans, and I'm just like, first of all, let me take that back. Us living in America and just being like, oh, you Americans, it's just like, don't say that. I just live there. I'm embarrassed enough. Please I just live there. That's the only thing you can say to me. But we were around a lot of people from Europe, so a lot of people from the UK, and we just took a knack for how they spoke. So
Yeah, I feel like the Mendum.
I'm losing the men, though.
I'm losing the Mendum is one of them, and that's like I'm losing the gang.
I'm losing the guys.
I'm losing the guy.
And that happened because one of the guys, his friends were walking away while he was trying to talk to one of the people in our group, and he was losing the men then. We had to catch up to them. So then that stuck with us because it was absolutely hilarious how he said it, and he felt like it was just so normal for him, and we're just like, I'm losing the men though.
Every 5 seconds. And then
guy.
So like it was those little things, but it was great. There was this one time that we were watching something and the performer was not going on. So like it was just, I think there was like technical difficulties, and so we were literally just standing in silence because they were trying to figure this out. And literally from the back of our heads, we hear this girl. She goes, "This is mad," and we were just like,
right, you're right. This shit is mad. Like,
but it was like the way that she said it. Like, I'm sorry, I love accents, I love it, and it just made it even better. Like, yes, this is mad.
What other things? Yeah, there were just a lot. We were saying a lot, and now I'm just like, I feel like we lost all that. But it's because we left Portugal and came back here
to Massachusetts.
And now we're here again. But to talk about fashion, lastly, to make this quick before we end the episode, I don't know, I asked my sister, because my sister was with us and she actually lives in London, and I was like, is it the popular thing for people to wear basketball jerseys now?
Oh, yes.
And it's actually, every other man was wearing some type of like basketball jersey
that they probably didn't even know.
No, because there was one guy that had no fucking clue what the team was, and it was some team in California. I don't fucking know, but I knew more than he did.
But yes, no, literally, I thought it was more of like a cute little thing, but like every single time that we went to the festival, there was at least 1 out of 10 of the guys there were wearing a basketball jersey. And I was just like,
I was
wow.
like, are we in 2001?
That's what I'm saying, because like, you know, we used to wear basketball jerseys, but that's like back in the day. So it was just like, so this came back and it's
like
popular
everything else,
now?
I guess. I mean, Y2K is kind of in style, so I can see it. They're more fitted, which I appreciate, because the 2000s, you know, they were wearing the extra large that were like dresses on them. So,
or sleeping gowns.
Yes, but I saw so many and they didn't know what team was from where. But hey,
they look fine.
They were still beautiful black men. You want to tell them how you fumbled the bag?
I always fumble bags. Like, that's just, unfortunately,
no,
like, I'm a starter, I'm not a closer.
Okay, let's talk about something. Since we're here, we've talked about, I know I was supposed to end this episode, but we've talked about how all the things that we've done in the last year, how much we've grown, the things we learned, and how we came about within the last year. But let's talk about some things we're going to learn to do and change from here on out. And one thing Iris is going to learn to do is, when you want to talk to him,
okay, quick.
Talk to them. If you want to hit them up, hit them up. If you want the phone number, girl, go ahead and ask for it. And I'm proud of you because you did it recently.
Yeah. I don't know how that's going to go. But, so... But
at least
I mean,
you did it.
Yes. So like one of the biggest things that I mentioned, by day 3, there was just so many beautiful people that like I wanted to let them know that they were beautiful. So anytime I got the chance and I saw a gorgeous face or a phenomenal fit, like I would stop them and let them know, your fit is just gorgeous. Your fit is beautiful. Your face is gorgeous. Your face is delicious. As F. So I would say that, but like I think I wasn't in the mindset that like I need to get that person's number or I need to have them with me, but just more admiring and letting them know that I admire them. And so I think in that sense I'm a good starter because I will let you know, but like I'm not gonna ask for your number because like maybe I wasn't in the mindset of needing to have their number.
But he was from New York.
But so there was this, I know, on top of that, like being in Portugal and then it's a man from New York, but still he was delicious. It was already nighttime, so I stopped taking pictures of people because I wasn't going to flash people. And I think we were enjoying Burna Boy and we were doing our thing. And I think from like the across the hall, across the sand, there was this gorgeous, delicious ass man that was walking towards us. He had this like red suit. He was like this. He had on some dreads, and he was just doing it. Like, he was just doing it. And so I kept looking, and each time I looked, he looked finer and finer. So I kept looking. But as he got closer, I was like, you know what? Iris, just tell him just the same way that you've been telling everybody else that he's fine. So he got closer, and I think when he got to like right here, I like stopped him and was just like, you look delicious as fuck. And then he was just, I think he like blushed and was just like, oh my gosh, like what the fuck just happened? And then I think he tried to have a conversation with me, and I was just like, no, just take the compliment and keep going.
And I commend that. I absolutely commend that happening until Iris was like, damn, I should have talked to him more. Yeah. Which I feel like it happens, and at this point in life, moments happen for a reason, and they're moments and they're memories. But hey, y'all share this video, this clip, and maybe we can find him or something.
I'm crying. No, do not do that.
No, we are doing this.
We are not doing
We are doing this. I will start the campaign.
We're not doing this.
Fine ass delicious man with the red suit and the locks that was at Afro Nation. We are looking for you.
No, we're not.
You live in New York. You live in New York.
No, we're not.
If it's you, hit us up.
But okay, what's the likelihood that this man is
Don't play. The world is smaller than you think. You met him in Portugal and he happened to be from New York. It can get smaller, boo.
Ma'am. So on that note, you know, we usually say what's resonating with me, and from what's resonating with me, I remind you guys that
shoot your shot.
No, we remind people that they can listen, he can listen, but she is speaking.
And we might be one more drop in the ocean, or we just might be that last sip to quench your thirst.